Major updates tonight on Biden's so-called nuclear energy expert. We got our hands on the criminal complaint filed in Minnesota against Sam Brinton, who goes by they, them pronouns. And it sure paints Brinton, the college kink lecturer turned nuclear deputy assistant secretary, as a criminal. The complaint says on September 16th, Brinton intentionally and without claim of right took a woman's luggage from baggage claim at the airport. Our friend Sam didn't check any luggage, so why was he picking up luggage at baggage claim? It looks like Sam was doing some shopping. They used to call that stealing. He was caught on surveillance video, taking the woman's bag and ripping off the luggage tag. Then Sam was seen leaving the area at a quick pace. And that checks out because when you steal a bag, run, Forrest, run. But this wasn't just any bag. This was a $2,300 Vera Bradley. And Sam liked the bag so much, he was caught with the same stolen bag on at least 2 other trips. The last time he got caught, police called him, and Sam said he was innocent, and the clothes in the bag were his. But then a few hours later, Sam called the cops back and said he wasn't being completely honest. What was Sam's excuse? Well, he said he was tired, and he thought the bag was his. I guess Sam was so tired he forgot he'd never checked a bag, and he was so tired he saw a bag that he'd never owned filled with clothes he'd never worn and took it. I know it's exhausting working for Joe Biden, but I didn't know it was that exhausting. Our little Sammy says he got to the hotel and realized the bag wasn't his, and then he got nervous. So he left the woman's clothes at the hotel. I guess the clothes weren't really Sam's style. We know Sam has a pup play fetish, loves leather dog masks, so maybe the clothes were just too plain for his taste. Maybe not, though, because as of October 27th, when the complaint was filed, no clothing was found at the hotel room. So he did steal the clothes. And as for the bag, Sam said it was too weird to leave that behind at the hotel, because we know our friend Sam never does anything weird. The Department of Energy put Sammy on leave, and he's been on leave for a month. But don't worry, he's still getting paid by you. Primetime's FOIA'd the surveillance video of Sam pinching the bag in Minnesota, and officials have 10 days to respond. We hope this isn't another Pauly P. situation. Victor Davis Hanson's a Hoover Institute senior fellow and the Dying Citizen author. Did you see maybe anything like this coming when Sam was hired, Victor?
Well, I think we're a live and let live society as long as you don't essentialize your race or your gender or your sexual persuasion. But when you make that essential to who you are, then you have to play by the rules. And if you have a downside, people are going to say, well, that's part of your essential character. So that's his problem, that he started out releasing pictures of himself in drag and talking about being a transgender person, and that became his essence. If that's his essence, and then he commits theft, and then he lies about it to the police, and those are felonies, then he's going to be identified as a transgender person. But if he had just said, you know what, this is incidental to who I am. I have a very impressive CV. I'm qualified for the job. It just happens to be that I have a different sexual outlook than other people, and then dropped it, I don't think he would be in as much trouble. But when you essentialize your identity and it becomes you, then you have to play by those rules that you've set for yourself. And I think that's his problem. And
apparently there were reports that there was a bunch of
trans dysphoria it's been known for 2,500 years. It's in Roman poetry, it's in novels of Rome. And until about 10 years ago, we had a whole category of terms for it: transvestism, transsexualism, gender dysphoria, gender disorder. And then suddenly, about 10 years ago, we said, you know what, it's not 1 in 10,000 like prior statistics had shown. It's 1 in 200. It's an epidemic. It's everywhere. And it's a civil rights movement. And that really radically changed things very quickly. And I don't think people have caught up to it. But societies have dealt with it for 2,500 years, and it was no big deal. But suddenly we made it the big deal. This was going to be the left's civil rights question of the next century. And my God, there wasn't data and statistics to show that there was a widespread bias and prejudice against this very rare condition.
And we don't care what he does in the bedroom. We don't care how he dresses.
No,
we really
don't.
don't care. We want him to fly his flag whichever way it flops around in the wind. But there were a lot of concerns when the guy applied for the job. And there are reports that this guy was not really that qualified, and they overlooked all this stuff because they wanted, it looks like, to get a guy out there to say, hey, I'm with the trans community. Now, this does not make the trans community look good. The trans community is looking at this thing, Victor, and be like, oh, my God, can you believe this guy? This is not a good look. And this isn't the first time, Victor. We had another guy. We just reported a couple months ago. There was a guy, Major Jamie Lee Henry, and he got pinched for trying to sell secrets to the Russians. He's in the U.S. military. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I think everybody needs to take a deep breath and just say this is an incidental situation. We have Rachel Levine, and all the press and all the media have defined her as transgender. We don't know anything about her publication record or education, but every time she says or does everything, it's always in the context of her transgenderism. And once you go down that road, anything negative about transgenderism then overwhelms who you are. So I don't know why she just didn't play it down and say, you know what, I'm qualified on this basis of my education, my academic record, my publication, my medical career. And if you think it's, I just happen to be transgender, no big deal. But they don't do that. They essentialize it, and then they take the downside along with the publicity upside. And I don't think they want the upside, but they're not willing to say, well, don't characterize me as transgendered. And I think that's the problem. And in this case, he committed a felony by probably stealing. He lied to the police, and he's a deputy secretary of the energy, and that's incompatible. He's going to have to resign.
He's dealing with the nuclear situation. And why do you think he stole the bag? Think he's a klepto?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know why you would do that. Steal someone's luggage?
Jesse, it's a common thing that people go and there's no way to identify bags if you steal. So everybody knows that there's surveillance cameras. Everybody knows that that's a common practice to steal.
So he's dumb.
So this guy's supposed to be, he's naive and dumb and he's pathological. And so,
all right.
And then he lies about it, and as if he wasn't caught on tape. I mean, it's tragic and sad and pathetic.
It is sad. And we hope we get a more qualified guy in there at the Department of Energy, because you probably need the best and brightest when you're handling nuclear fuel waste. Absolutely. Or whatever the heck it is he does. Victor Davis Hanson, thank you so much. Everybody go check out his book, The Dying Citizen.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.